Yes, welcome everyone here to the Smash Sports Show right here on Smash FM here on a Tuesday here in Melbourne. Of course, let's go back across to our friends over in WA, and of course, we're just gone from one Pure Thunder player to another, and of course, we just had the league team on the show just a moment ago with Ebony. Because this time we're going to the reserves, of course, who also won the Premiership on the same day. Of course, as the league team, of course, down at Mandurah, of course, they defeated East Fremantle in their grand final. And of course, we've got two very special guests on the show. Of course, we've got the captain and, of course, the coach of that team to tell us a bit about their fantastic grand final over the Sharks. And they join us right now. Thanks both for joining us.
You're very welcome.
Well, I will get both of you to introduce yourselves and tell us what position both of you played on the field on the grand final day.
Okay, I'm Narelle. I actually coached and played this year, so that was interesting. But I played down forward, so yeah, that was my role for the day, between forward on the bench and trying to sort this lot out. So yeah, it's pretty intense. So your turn.
And so I'm Whitney. I'm the captain, and I play fullback or key back, just take on any other big dogs that the teams want to throw at us. That's my job.
Amazing day down in Mandurah. Obviously, it would have been perfect if the Rogers Cup girls got over the line in the prelim final, but obviously they just fell short the game before. But obviously yourselves and the league team make the grand final, and obviously the fantastic venue to host it as well, down there at the David Gray's Arena in Mandurah. How surreal was it on the day?
For me, it was very, very surreal. I still actually, a week and a bit after, and I still sort of pinch myself that we actually we did it. But the whole for the club, it was just so special to actually have two teams host it. It got postponed a week because of COVID with the lockdown, and then actually the whole vibe around the club and us. And it would have been great if the Rogers were there, but they're a young team. I think they had probably, I'd like to say more than half. I'm not exactly sure of the numbers, but new players this year. And it was just, they only lost by a goal in the prelims. So yeah, we were that close to having three teams. But even just the two of us, it was amazing. The Rogers come into the room before the games, and the league girls as well. So. And all the families, the friends, everyone. It was, I can't actually explain it unless you're actually there. It's a feeling I don't think I'll ever replicate again. It was good.
To the game itself, was there a particular moment in the game that was a turning point?
I'd definitely say through the whole game, we kind of knew that we would hold it to them. And I said to the girls before that we knew that they were going to score against us, and we knew that we might have to come from behind or whatever, but it shouldn't matter because we have the skills and we have the ability to score quickly. But definitely when we came back out after three-quarter time and we had the breeze and we're only a goal behind, and immediately East sort of went into a very defensive sort of strategy, and I was in the back line sitting there watching it. I was just like, nah, we're going to take this. So for me, sort of being able to sit back and watch, that was when I knew that we could take this game. Like I had belief throughout the whole game, but when that after three-quarter time, when that last quarter started and they went defensive, I was like, nah, one goal is not enough to beat us. We're going to score. And so for me, that was a real turning point, and yeah, I just knew we'd get it done.
I mean, sorry. In the forward line, I just think we had, because Ava kicked the two winning goals in the last quarter. And I think for us, we knew that if we got the ball forward, there was one moment, I can't remember where it was, but Ava kicked the goal to get us level. And the belief in the forward line was like, even though we weren't in front, we sort of knew that we were, we just had this belief that it was going to happen. And then the ball went back, and I think it was Savannah Ahern actually got it. And it was like their final thrust forward their way. And then Sav got it, kicked it back. And I think it was at that point we were just like, nah, they've got nothing. They can't get past our backs. Whitney and her crew, they just couldn't get it into the 50. So I think that was probably, I don't know, was it 5 minutes ago, Whitney? I can't remember. It was just
something like that.
Something like that. And then when Ava got that, when she put us 6 points in front, I swear to God, that goal, someone was up on the goalpost and just tapped it in because it was going left. And all of a sudden it just did a right-hand turn. So, but yeah, that was probably it for me.
Now, the question I want to ask both of you is, now, and I asked the league, both Ebony's, this question with their league side of things. Now, am I assuming that your team had a similar situation where you won the second semi-final and had the week off, then you actually had another week off because of the lockdown? And if so, how difficult was it to navigate that?
We actually get Swans, so we had to go out to their home ground, and we ended up beating them. Then we had, we would have gone straight into the final, so we had no break, but because COVID kicked in, we only got a week off. The league got 2, but we only got 1. So for us, it was, we'd had, leading up to that, we'd had a couple of games, I think 3 or 4 games, then a break, 3 or 4, then a break. So we were sort of, for us, the momentum, it wasn't too bad because we were training twice a week anyway. So, well, not during the COVID lockdown, but, you know, we just, yeah, we were used to having that week off. So I don't think we lost much at all.
Yeah, and I think we almost felt like it was a little bit of an advantage to us having to play that extra game against Swan Districts, because what we needed to fix from the East Freo game, we were able to fix in the Swan Districts game, which translated into how we played in our grand final. Whereas I feel like if we had gotten away with a win against East, that first one, we might not have had the sort of kick up the tuchus that we needed. But we got that, and then it almost was a little bit of a blessing that we got a little bit of a break, and then we're sort of like, oh, well, East haven't played in a while, so maybe they'll be a bit rusty, which is kind of what we're hoping.
Because we had a few injuries too, so that gave us an extra week for people to recover. But that first game we lost to East Fremantle, we were actually, I think, 12 minutes ago in the last quarter, we had no bench. So we only lost by a goal that game. So we knew that if we had a full team, had a full bench, and going into that last quarter, we had, you know, fully equipped team, that we were in with a good shot.
So my question I want to ask both of you then, because then obviously you had to play pretty much every single game in the final series. The league team obviously went straight through. Were you worried after your game? Obviously you were celebrating and enjoying the moment, but were you worried when it got to the league game that they had a similar thing or what your opponents did, where they had 2 weeks off? Were you concerned at all?
Nah, definitely not. Nah, the girls have trained hard for it, and Steve had them pretty well primed, and they were itching at the bit to get out there, and they'd been training well. So no, if anything, it just freshens you up. As long as you stay fresh mentally, physically, it just gave them an extra week, and they were ready to roll. So no, I wasn't worried, not as a coach.
Yeah, and I think the pressure for them to go back to back, I don't think was anywhere near put on as much from the media or outside as it was internally. I think the girls really felt it inside in the league side that they wanted to go back to back, and that passion was not going to be wavered by a couple of weeks off the field. They were rearing and ready to go.
Now I have to ask, and I always ask for my premiership teams I have on the show, which is number 1. I'm assuming both of you have your premiership medals with you. Which would you like to show it to us?
So mine's got something a little bit extra on it.
Oh, you got the key. You still got the key. I remember you getting that. That was cool.
Yeah, so one of our girls that plays reserves, her fiance is actually the mayor of Mandurah. So when we won our game against Swan Districts to get in the grand final, I went up to him and I said, look, Reese, if we win, I'm pretty sure that earns us the keys to the city. So yeah, after our game, we were presented with the keys to Mandurah, and he also presented a set to the league, which I believe Steve, the coach of the league, has also probably on his medallion.
I think Whitney's actually tried the key at a few places in town and it doesn't work. So we're thinking it's just a cheapie from Bunnings.
Yeah.
I've hit him up. We couldn't get into any of the pubs with it.
We didn't get in anywhere good in Mandurah.
We did a Swiftie.
That was literally my next question. So I'll move on to the next one, which is, how long did both of you wear your medals around your necks for? And did either of you sleep with it?
I can confirm I woke up in the morning with my medallion around my neck. Had a little imprint on my chest. So yeah, I wore it to bed.
Okay. I did. I took it off to have a shower because I didn't want to get it rusty or anything like that, but I slept with it. And Can I say I slept with a cup? Steve actually said to me, he said, oh, if you put it by your bedside, he said, there's no better feeling than actually waking up the next day with the cup next to your bed. And I thought, well, what if it's waking up on my pillow next to me? I was a bit dirty. They want it back. They asked me yesterday to bring it back, so I've got to bring it back tomorrow so they can clean it for the prezos on Friday. But it's still got, I'm sure it's still got vodka and whatever else. A heap of stuff. It's a bit dirty. She'll be all right. We'll clean her up.
Well,
I've got the pennant. I better take the pennant back. I forgot about
that. She's got everything.
Well, there's a story behind this too, because this one here ended up in the mud, so I had to clean it. I think I did a pretty good job. It looks pretty clean, yeah?
Yeah.
But it was stained with mud because after the leg, I had it tucked in my pants because I didn't, like, it's only small, like compared to the leagues flag. I don't know if you saw the league flag. It's like massive. All right,
the league flag is enough to house a small family, and ours is hardly going to cover up a puppy. But that's okay.
So I hung this in my jeans so I wouldn't lose it. And when the league won, we ran out onto the field, and of course it got lost in the huddle and ended up in the mud, and it got dirty, so I had to take it home and clean it. But yeah, that's there too. That's beautiful. So proud. I'm so proud of the girls.
Oh, that's amazing.
Good day.
So my next question I was going to ask about the cup is that I know you're not meant to do this during COVID time, but did either of you have obviously drink out of the cup, and did either of you kiss the cup?
Oh,
so
many times. So many times. Mandurah would have been stuffed if we had some COVID going through there on grand final day.
I'm pretty sure we didn't have any restrictions though, did we?
No.
But we had... Oh, no, we were a couple of hours before, but I think on the field we were allowed. I don't know.
Correct.
All I know is that after midnight, we drank out of the cup and we kissed it very, very much. So, yeah, I think it was midnight we came out of lockdown. So, yeah, we did drink out of it, and yes, it did get a lot of love.
It's so much love.
Yes.
Yeah.
Tell us who won the grand final best on ground, and tell us a bit about her game. I'm sure it was from your team.
Yeah,
you talk about Ari. She's God. She's just gold. You talk about her.
Yeah. So we have this absolute champion who, look, I think if she wanted to give footy a real crack, she'd be playing league 100%. But she's a basketballer. She plays for Rocky Flames, and she's also absolute champion basketballer. But I guess with a bit of love and coercion, we got her to sort of come back and play a bit, and then convinced her with more love and coercion to finish the rest of the season. But she's an absolute superstar. If she played more games, she 100% probably would have been right up there in the WAFL W Reserves awards, but she was up there anyway, even playing the few games that she did. She's extremely athletic. She's agile. She's strong. She plays like a midfielder in a ruckman's body. Like, she's absolutely fantastic. Sidestepping, loves a bit of a don't argue, is probably one of the most untackleable beasts I've ever seen play footy. And I was not a surprise at all that she got best on ground. I do think we had some other really amazing contributors, obviously, like Ari, kicked the winning goal for us, and Skipper Vampire on the wing, and Bella Mann, and I mean, I could name everyone. Everyone played a fantastic game, but those girls in particular were really awesome in crucial points. But yeah, Ariana Hetherington is absolute legend on and off the field, but very much on the field. Yeah,
she's a jet. Easy to coach, very, very easy to coach. It was just like, Ari, you want to play? Yeah, what do I do? Just do what you do. She was insane. You just look at some of the photos if you get a chance on the one of our photographers that took the game shots. You have a look at the airtime she gets in the ruck tap. She just clears the people. Just a God-gifted natural athlete. I reckon she could pick up a cricket bat, a bloody squash racket, you name it, and she'd excel at it. So, and yeah, even better person. Well deserved. totally.
Now, just talking a bit about her, have you, obviously, she's gone back to play for NBL1, back with the Flames, obviously with the footy season over. Have you tried to convince her to maybe steer more towards the footy side than the basketball side?
Yeah, I had a chat with her. Oh, you go.
Yeah. I was just going to say, I think Ari sees footy as like a really fun outlet and doesn't want to take it too seriously, just sees it as something she'd like to dabble at. But I feel like basketball is where her true sort of passion lies. But yeah, for her, I don't think she wants to take it too serious because that might take a bit of the fun out of it. But as much as we'd love to have her around all the time.
Yeah. And I had a chat to her. Well, that's how I actually got her back, was just like, said, just come have some fun. And and with COVID happening, basketball got shut down for a bit. So that's actually how we got her back for a couple of games. And then just the girls we had, she was just having so much fun that she's just like, come back for another game. Yeah, no worries. And then I said, well, you're going to commit for the rest of the season? She goes, I said, come on, do you want me to convince your dad? Because I used to work with her old man, and he was the sort of hurdly. He I don't know. He absolutely loves watching her play. He actually he missed the grand final, unfortunately, but I think he would have been a driving force behind her actually coming and helping us out as well. So, but I think, like Whitty said, she just loves the game and loves being around the girls, and it's such a fun thing for her that I think to play at that top level, because it is so serious now and it's getting that serious. I'm not too sure that's where she wants to head at the moment, but I mean, there's no saying she couldn't do it. She could totally do it. You ask me, she could get drafted. That would be my personal opinion if she applied herself. But she's young. She just graduated, just got a degree in teaching, I believe, the other day. So I think professional football at the moment is probably the furthest thing from her mind. But never say never, I'd say. Who knows? I'd love to see her out there. She'd smash it. She'd absolutely smash it.
Did this premiership mean to both of you, but especially the community down in the lower southwest? What did this mean to not just for your reserves team, and obviously I've already spoken a bit about the league side of things with the league girls, but what did this mean to the reserves team, but especially the community down in the lower southwest below, like from Mandurah down?
I think a hell of a lot, because being the reserves, through the whole year, we had a fair bit thrown at us. Because we had so many talented girls at our club get selected for state sides, we were actually very, very short on players there for a while, for a few weeks. And so we actually had to call on some of our mates down the southwest. We used girls from Donnybrook, Harvey, South Mandurah, and even up in Warnbro that came in and filled the voids for us. And to have those girls come up and actually experience it, and no questions asked, like the coaches were more than willing to let us have their players for a weekend. They didn't have to, but they did, because they knew the girls we got in, they were experienced, and what they do, they take that experience back. And it just opens up a whole network for the club, and it gives the older girls a chance to take that back to the bush, then gives the younger ones something to aspire to, and just say, well, you know what, we're all in this together, and we're all here about helping each other out. We're not just one exclusive, club. It's great that, we're having the success, but there's no way in hell we would have achieved what we achieved this year if it wasn't for those clubs down south. So, massive impact for them. And personally, I just think for me, I mean, I'm a little bit older than the others, and that was my third grand final in all that time, and only the first one I've won. So, and probably, maybe the last game I play in. So it's just, I can't explain it for me personally what it means, but I want to coach, full time eventually, but I want to work with the kids, but to work amongst it and then be able to now branch out down south if I can, go down and mix it with them and just talk to them. It just opens a lot more doors. So I think it's vital, and I think it's very, very special for everyone involved.
Yeah, exactly what Narelle said. We couldn't have got there without the helping hands along the way, whether it be people off field, on field, particularly our trainers who travel to no end to come and help us out. And then I think as well, obviously I think representation really matters, and having, two women's teams playing in a grand final, applied for the grand final and got a young local, girls that are from around your area to see the pathway that they can take through youthies, through resis to league. So for me, that was a really special part that, local kids could be seeing seeing you know, local people doing what we do. And then on a personal note, like I had a bit of a rough time at the end of last year. So I played league all through the year, and then unfortunately got dropped for the grand final, which was, you know, a big hit to the guts for myself. And then I did a lot of self-reflecting of what I wanted to get out of my footy, you know, this next year. And I did all the pre-season, and I could just see the elite talent that the league side had, and maybe that I didn't quite fit into that anymore. So I'm just like, where can I put my energy? What can I do? And, you know, having Narelle come on board as coach and basically say, well, if you play reserves, you'll be captain. So I was like, sick. I love telling people what to do. So that sounds great to me. And I'm very loud and outspoken, so great.
It worked really well because she doesn't shut up and I just say nothing. So it worked really, really She was the motivator. It was the motivator in the packs, and so I just did all the stuff behind the scenes. And then on game day, it was just like, Whitty, there you go. There's the girls. They're yours. I can sit back and listen. Worked well.
Yeah. So no, this meant a lot personally to myself there, but this one helping build the team and work with Narelle, and you know, actually felt like I contributed a lot more off field than I ever had before, and really felt like I'd help build a team towards a grand final rather than just playing in one. Like I really felt like, you know, there was a lot of teamwork and I was part of the team, which was great.
I'm so glad you did, because that probably the best thing coming out of it was we had a bunch of girls that we never had the same team on the field every week, not once. So we had a core group of a dozen or so, but then it was just like, you know, everyone else filling the gap. So we had this bond where we had to be so resilient, and we just had to adjust every week. And the girls just, we just formed this bond, and it didn't matter what happened. It didn't matter what anyone threw at us. They weren't going to break us. And we just got stronger and stronger, I think, mentally, and especially as a coach, to have the respect and like the trust that they put in me. You know, a lot of personal stuff that I got to help them with. And like when he said, when you can help the girls get to a grand final is one thing, but when you can actually see them growing as women, and young girls, that's just a totally different kettle of fish. And I think for me, that was probably the most fulfilling thing, was actually watching these young kids grow and turn into these strong, independent women that, you know, that they can be. So self-belief, yeah, it was just I don't know, indescribable, I think, is probably the best word.
Well, pretty much just answered every other question I'm going to ask about what they, but you know, what does the sport of football mean to both you, and especially being at Peel? So you just answered that one pretty easily. Now, I guess my question I'm going to ask is, for everyone in the lower southwest region that should get involved in footy, what would be your advice to them?
Have a go.
Come hang out at Peel.
Give us a call.
Yeah.
I'd say probably just, it depends how young you're talking. Like if you're talking school age, because when I was young, there was no football for girls. I wasn't allowed to play. So got told if I played football, I'd hurt myself and wouldn't be able to have kids, and God knows what other ungodly stories you know, they fed you a whole pile of BS. And then I would just say to the young girls, have a go. And if you love it, love it. Keep playing. Don't let anyone ever tell you that you can't do something. Get involved in a local club and play for one reason, and that is to enjoy it. And footy's like a big family. It's not an individual thing. So it's probably the best place if you want to make mates. It's also good for your mental health, because you have so many people around you, and it's a great escape. You know, if you're having troubles at home or anywhere else, just get down the footy club, and you never know, you'll meet someone in the same position as you, and next thing you know, you're playing the next level up. And then, yeah, I don't know. I just say give it a crack. That's all I'd say.
Yeah. And I think for me, the really special thing at Peel is like we have got fantastic coaching staff and admin staff, and the board are amazing, and everyone else that has something involved in Peel is fantastic. But for me, the biggest asset that we have got are our players. And I think that's why we won 2 premierships and why we have been extremely successful. And even though the youthies just fell short in getting into a grand final, they're going to be up there like within the next year or so, because you can just see it. But the camaraderie and the fun that we all have together, and there's like no infighting. Everyone is really gets along, and you hardly see little groups clicking together. It's everyone all together, and everyone's very friendly. So for me, the community at Peel is its biggest asset, and I hope that's what other people can get out of sport, and that's why I love team sport. I think it's fantastic.
Now let's finish up with a couple of light-hearted questions about your teammates. Firstly, who had the most embarrassing moment on the field this season, and what was it?
Oh, what did Jess Fenton do in that game against Claremont? What did she? I feel like she almost got caught holding the ball or something, or she ran into the girl on the mark, but then she caught her.
Was the opposite direction, or was it? No.
Oh, she did something dumb, but ended up with a free kick.
What about Greta when she went to stand the mark and it was the opposite way? Was that Greta or was that JD? I'm trying to remember. Someone actually stood the mark and we were going the other way. Maybe that was Jess.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't remember. Maybe.
One of the girls rocked up to our final to get in the grand final without her boots.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was it. That was the Swan Districts game. That was probably the most embarrassing.
Skipper, I'm looking at you. She had to run around asking all the youthies coaches who had the smallest feet.
Yeah, because
she
she's
needed
size
little
5.
tiny boots because she's a little tiny 5 pocket rocket. So that was pretty embarrassing.
That would have to be it.
Yeah.
I don't think other than that, people have forgot their socks, but that's not really as embarrassing as the boots, especially
boots is bad.
Especially before a final. Like that was to get into the grand final. So she was obviously nervous.
You're lucky, Skipper.
Lucky just engaged the mayor.
Yeah.
I think Reese would have had her boots ready.
Now, who's the comedian, the best singer, and the best dancer in the team?
You'd be the comedian. Your poetry rocks.
Like I'm going to put my hand up and say that I think I'm quite funny. I write pre-game poems, and they usually get the people going. But best dancer, I'd have to give to McKinley. She's always having a bit of a boogie to the tunes.
Is this like when I'm not in the room?
Yeah.
No, you'd be the comedian. Your poetry is tops. She gave a great pre-grand final poem. Unfortunately, it's X-rated and we can't share it. But it was very, very funny. Very funny. Who else is funny?
Demi. She's funny to laugh at.
Demi's funny. Demi's as funny. And you know who's sort of quietly funny is Sav. Sav's got a very dry sense of humor.
Sav's funny.
Sav looks very quiet, but she
whole backline's a bunch of comedians, really. I've taught them all well.
Jade Kelly, she's a cracker.
Exactly.
She's like tiny and she's just like wants to go and rock. It's like, no, Jade.
Yeah. Tackles like a monster, but
yeah. We don't really have it. That's it. You're it.
You're welcome.
Yes. Fun enough, Ebony did say you were the comedian, even combined with the league team. But I know she's going to get you about the dancing side of things. So just watch out for that one, that presentation night. So just let you know, just give me a warning.
I'm ready. I was born ready.
Ebony Hardy, she can dance. Ebbs Hardy.
Oh, yeah.
Ebbs?
Yeah.
I reckon she'll go off on Friday night after a few. As long as there's no poles around, we'll be sweet. You won't like me saying that.
Did any of the league girls talk about our injuries from Mad Monday or nah?
Nah.
We're talking about Mad Monday?
No.
So I feel like Steve, the coach of the league, honestly, he probably ended up the worst injured.
He's got a leg injury.
Yeah. Well, we've got a teammate from the league who used to be like a quite a good hurdler, and so obviously we were getting everyone to hurdle because that's what you do. And Steve-O had a crack, but the first one went good. The second one didn't go so good.
Yeah, there's a fence that goes around the oval, and they weren't allowed to use their hands. Let's just say that they should have.
Yeah.
You know what? I know exactly the fence you're talking about because I have been to your venue before. So
You know what was even funnier was the because it was raining and the boys had a game while we're having Mad Monday and they had to put the white
Oh my
post
God.
protectors on. Yeah. So sitting
That's
back
an
and
impossible task. Don't let
Trying to
anyone tell you
first-
different.
yeah, it was absolutely pelting down with rain and they're trying to put on these post protectors as dressed up as eggplants and whatever else they were dressed at in pouring rain on Mad Monday late in the afternoon. I'll just let you picture that for a moment. It was funny.
We got it done. We got it done in the end.
But that was Billy. Billy should have told you about that. She was one of the main catalysts in that one. She was
right.
jumping. Yeah, she probably left that bit out.
Yeah, I think she did. Okay, I'll.
She probably didn't remember.
Do either of you have a pre-game superstition or ritual?
Well, I'll be honest. Probably one of my favorite things to do is I've got a like 70s playlist on my Spotify. It's called Disco Disco.
Yeah.
And I like to listen to my Disco Disco and have a bit of a boogie and a dance before I leave. That's usually gets me in a good mood in the morning. So I'll say that's my ritual.
Mine was pretty boring. I would always go down the beach in the morning. I'd wake up and hit the beach. That was just go for a walk, take the dog down, and if we had a home game, I'd usually go and eat at my favourite little cafe and have breakfast there and then go to the game. But no, I didn't have time for rituals before the game. I was too busy running around after this lot. or getting strapped. That's probably a pre-game ritual. It's sitting in the trainer's room getting strapped up. Every game. Glad it's over.
And we'll finish off with this one last one is any players in the team that had really good nicknames? Now, obviously, we figured out already in the league team that Chippy was one of them. In the league team, and no one else.
Well, you're looking at Big Dog right there. She's the only one that on my coach's board. She's the only one that had her own magnet without her name on it. It was just Big Dog.
Yeah.
So where did that originate?
So it actually originated from when I was playing football in South Australia, and I had a friend whose nickname was Danger, and everyone thought that was really cool. And another one, my housemate at the time, she was really pissed off that she didn't have a good nickname. And I just said, if you keep referring to yourself as something, it'll just catch on. Just refer to yourself as whatever. So I just started referring to myself as Big Dog, and then it just started. So if people would ask me a question, I'd be like, oh yeah, Big Dog says so. So look, it's very dumb, but if you want a nickname, if you refer to yourself as it enough, it'll stick.
We didn't really have any others, did we? Like, I can't think
most people it's to do with their name.
I gave McKinley the nickname Socks because she wore those. She would never wear football socks to training, and because I kept getting her and JD confused. There were two girls that come down from Karratha, and people thought they were twins to start with, even though one had like semi-red hair and one had blonde hair, so they really didn't look alike. But because they're both young from the same town, and I had trouble getting their names right, so I just started calling her Socks because she wouldn't wear her footy socks to training. She'd wear all those, those novelty ones.
Funky
Yeah.
socks, yeah.
So for me, it was just easier. I just called her Socks. So that was it. And I think
our teammate, we're talking about Skipper, like that's her actual name. And when she played a few games of league and they had commentators, they kept referring to her as the Skipper, like she was the captain. And we were like, no, her name is Skipper. She's not the Skipper. Her name is just Skipper. So
both of you, thank you so much for giving up your time to join us. It's awesome having both of you on the show. From all of us here at Smash FM, we want to congratulate your particular team, the Reserves, on winning the Premiership. It was fully deserved, that Premiership. Watched pretty much all of it of course, especially that final couple of minutes, which was pretty tight in that last couple of minutes. But well done, fully deserved it. And especially you had to do it through the long way through the prelim final. And best of luck for the rest of going to 2022. So that the East can make it, hopefully the Rogers Cup can join you and make it three for next year in 2022.
Yeah, it's highly possible. So let's hope so.
Yeah, thank you so much for having us on. It's been awesome. Thank you.
Been fun. Thanks, Phil.
No worries. And that's Whitney and Narelle there, joins from the Peel Thunder, of course, for next year. Make sure you get down there to Mandurah throughout the 2022 season and see if the reserves and the league team can make it another premiership in 2022. There's more on the Smash Sport Show right after this. Don't go away here on the 10th year celebration.